many reasons. We have seen all over the United States efforts to prevent Americans from being able to vote, from moving polling
Wow, how
places
fucking hard
out of
can it
a
be to
jurisdiction
say we're
without
gonna do
any
this, we're
public
gonna do
jurisdiction,
that?
so voters can't get there,
Oh,
reducing
God,
early
bitch,
voting,
bitch. This one won't let me
voter
do
ID
that.
requirements
We
that
need a
have
bill for this.
discouraged,
We need to make a law
results
for
that
that.
disadvantage young people. For example, in Texas, you can show your hunting license, but not your University of Texas ID. I think there's a rationale behind that. We've had enough. We believe that American citizens ought to be able to vote, and that we should do everything in federal elections, as the Constitution provides, to allow those American citizens to vote. And that's why this bill provides for at least 15 days of early voting for federal elections. No excuse absentee ballots, that provisional ballots are treated uniformly, so a voter in one state is treated the same way as a voter in another state when they're voting for the House of Representatives. We want to improve access for voters with disabilities and for overseas and military voters. We know that we are vulnerable to hacking. We have voting machines that are using software that is no longer even updated. They are vulnerable to hacking. We've got to have paper ballots
Yeah.
that are subject to a recount. Now, much has been
Excuse me.
said about
I got a
elements
lot
of this,
of my throat.
but one of
Oh,
the
that's
things
my
I think
girl.
is very important is the federal congressional redistricting provisions. If there's one thing that makes Americans upset,
What's
it's
going on?
politicians manipulating the districts so that even if they don't get the votes, they get to win the seats. That's gerrymandering. This bill does away with it for the House of Representatives. It requires all states to establish independent redistricting commissions for the purpose of developing and enacting congressional redistricting plans. It exempts states that meet the minimum requirements, including the state of Arizona, contrary to one of the comments made earlier today. There's been a lot of discussion about money, but I would like to ask unanimous consent.
It's all about money.
To the record, the preliminary report we have received from the Joint Committee on Taxation.
That request will be considered under general law.
The estimate of the proposed 2.75% special assessment on criminal penalties and civil penalties is that it would raise $1.948 billion between 2019 and 2029, and that it would reduce the deficit by $83 million because people would be deterred by the additional penalty. That's from the Joint Committee on Taxation. I didn't make that up.
83 million?
This bill has a lot of sound provisions in it. It
To a debt of
discloses
21
big money
trillion.
so that there's
That's
transparency,
nothing.
as the court and Citizens United
We had to give them
suggested
that yesterday.
It empowers small donors so that
What's
big
doing?
money guys don't own the
What are you
government.
doing?
It reforms the process of the
Get
ethics
your
process
butt
for
over here.
the president, for the Congress,
Get
and
your
for the
butt
judiciary.
over here.
You know, I'm sorry to say that
Come here. Come here.
some
You're not getting
candidates
away.
win only when they suppress the vote. And we've seen that happen across the United States. We're not going to allow that to happen. Every American has a right to vote,
You are
to
just
have their
a
vote
pussycat
counted,
when it comes
and
to
let the
this,
chips
aren't
fall
you,
where
honey?
they may. That's what H.R. 1 will do, and I urge its passage, and I yield back the balance of my time.
General Levy yields back. All time for general debate has expired. Pursuant to the rule, the bill should be considered for amendment under the 5-minute rule.
Alright, I'll leave the video on for a little while, but
substitute recommended by the
I think
Committee on
these people
House
talk about
Administration,
drivel.
printed in the bill. The amendment in the nature of substitute consisting of the text of Rules Committee,
You
print
are such a good girl
116-7,
today.
modified by the amendment printed in Part A of House Report 116-16, shall be considered as adopted. The bill as amended shall be considered as an original bill for purpose of amendment, further amendment under the
Poor and
5-minute rule,
silly.
should be considered as read.
Very
No further
silly. I can
amendments to the
feel it
bill
right
as
down to your
amended shall be in
toes,
order,
Hattie.
except those printed in Part
Right
B
down to
of
your
House Report
toes.
116-16 and amendments en
Yes.
bloc described in Section 3 of the House
Yes, I
Resolution
can feel it way
172.
down here.
Each further amendment printed in Part B of the report may be
Oh,
offered
yeah,
only
that's no
in the
good.
order printed in the report
There,
by a
that
member
was
designated
good.
in the report, shall be considered as read. Shall be debatable for a time specified in the report, equally divided.
How about that for
Vote
TV,
by
huh,
the
peoples?
proponent and opponent shall not be subject to amendment, shall not be subject to a demand for division of the question. It shall be in order at any time for the chair of the Committee on House Administration
And
or
the
her
thing about this
designee to
TV,
offer amendments
I don't know what it is, but I've got the color turned down. I don't like a big splash of color. But that sure is a good picture, and I'm off to the side. And you can hear the difference in this, the sound bar, too.
Or their designees shall not be subject to amendment, shall not be subject to a demand for a division of the question.
Oh, I was jacking through the whole thing. Oh, my goodness. It's just rigmarole, I see. Just
It is now in order to consider amendment number 1, printed in Part B of House Report 116-16. What purpose does the gentleman from New York seek recognition?
Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment at the desk.
Clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment number 1, printed in Part B of House Report number 116-16, offered by Mr. Swazi of New York.
Pursuant to House
Yeah?
Resolution
What does that mean?
172, the gentleman from New York, Mr. Swazi, and a member opposed will each control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from New York.
Mr. Chairman, before I speak about our bipartisan amendment, I'd like to thank Representatives Sarbanes and Representative Lofgren for their hard work on H.R.
Yeah, thank him for it. Now get right to it.
Chairman McGovern and his staff on the Rules Committee and the entire Rules Committee for making our amendment in order and for working with the Problem Solvers Caucus and other pragmatic members to foster an inclusive process.
Well, let's see if it's any good first.
Number 112 to H.R. 1, with 24 Democrats and 20 Republican co-sponsors, would require the Federal Elections Commission to conduct an audit after each federal election cycle to determine any incidents of illicit foreign money in the election. The reason we have such a bipartisan supported amendment is because of the hard work of the Problem Solvers Caucus, chaired by my friends Chairman Reed for the Republicans and Chairman Gottheimer from the Democrats. In January, our colleagues on the Problem Solvers Caucus worked with the leadership to negotiate the 2020 rule as part of our Break the Gridlock proposal. This amendment
Just
is
put
the
a cap
first
on
amendment
it.
to receive
You want to
preferential
give to
treatment under
a
the 2020
candidate,
rule by the Rules
you
Committee,
give
and we're happy to see our additional
$3,000.
rules package has worked its way to encourage transparency
Wow.
and bipartisanship in the
What a
116th
difference where a company can
Congress.
give him millions,
Mr. Chairman,
and
campaign
these
finance
guys
law
like
has
the
loopholes
guest
to
candidate
leave
in
the
his
American electoral process
his
susceptible to illicit funding
jurisdiction.
from foreign nationals,
He'll give him 10,000.
corporations, and government. Foreign money easily influences our elections by passing funds through
And
shell
then companies-
corporations, U.S. subsidiaries, investments, trade associations, and shell corporations. Under our proposed amendment, within 180 days of an election, the FEC will submit to Congress a report containing audit results and recommendations to address the presence of illicit foreign money. I urge the members of this Congress to continue to utilize the 2020 rule and gain some muscle memory of working in a bipartisan way to work for the American people. Confidence in our electoral process is essential to faith in our government institutions, and I urge the passage of this bipartisan amendment to H.R. 1. I reserve my time.
Gentleman reserves. What
See?
reason does the gentleman from New York, the other gentleman from New York, have?
To seek the Republican response time, Mr. Chairman.
Oh,
Without
okay.
objection, the gentleman is recognized.
Let's see what this guy's got to
Thank you,
say.
Mr. Chairman, and I would like to start by thanking my colleague, Mr. Swazi from New York.
Oh, come
as well
on.
as,
Stop
our
thanking
Republican
people.
colleague,
That's all
Mr.
you guys
Fitzpatrick, who
do.
led the charge on this amendment.
Oh, because he
process
bought
of this amendment
lunch.
before you,
Oh,
Mr.
that's
Chairman.
right.
I would also like to take a moment to thank my co-chair on the Problem Solvers Caucus, Mr. Gottheimer from New
My
Jersey.
goodness.
Though we may disagree on the fundamental bill before us, Mr. Chairman, I am pleased to be able to report to the American people today that there are still members here that are looking to find
see any of
common
that?
ground. And in the amendment before you that has been put forward in this new mechanism in the Rules Committee to encourage bipartisan debate, we have found that common ground in regards to the transparency and the requirements that this amendment calls for, in regards to making sure that if foreign money is in our election process, that we do what we can in order to root that out and bring sunshine to that issue for all Americans to see. I encourage my colleagues on our side of the aisle to support this amendment, because this is that common ground that, even though we may fundamentally disagree on some of the final conclusions of H.R. 1 and the issue in the debate that we've already seen on display here today, this is something that common sense dictates, that we come together as Democrats and Republicans, working together to find that common ground to advance the American cause. And with that, I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from New York is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to yield a minute and a half to the gentlelady from Virginia.
Why does this have to be an amendment or a bill? This should be automatic.
I thank the
There should be no
gentleman for
foreign
yielding,
money,
and Mr.
period.
Chairman,
Somebody
I
should be
rise
watching
in
them
support of
anyway.
this amendment to H.R. 1. I speak today as someone who
Oh,
has
you
spent
do.
my career in public service identifying
Look at that
foreign
picture.
threats to the safety and security of the American people. As a former CIA officer, I work to identify threats to our country, our fellow Americans, and threats that would leave our nation vulnerable to attack, espionage, or foreign influence. As Congress acts this week to restore transparency to our government and regain trust from the people we serve, we must take steps to prevent foreign influence in our democratic
That's
process.
a nice picture.
I support efforts to push back against
And
the
it's
very
big too.
real threat
This is a
of foreign
24-foot
financial
room?
influence. I know nefarious actors are out there. I know they are tireless in their commitment to target our foundational institutions, including our voting process. The American people shouldn't have to worry about the ability of foreign governments or entities to influence our elections and our citizens, but senseless loopholes in our campaign finance system have left our electoral process vulnerable to spending
Even if
by
I look
foreign
at it out
governments,
here,
corporations, and
that's
foreign
where I should be
nationals.
looking at it.
These foreign entities should not have the ability to exert influence over the issues that impact Americans most, including the national defense.
Why are they even
healthcare, and our
discussing
financial
this?
services sector. That's why I am proud to co-sponsor this much-needed bipartisan amendment. This amendment will strengthen the integrity of our elections and
There should be
encourage
no
our government to
inclusion of some money from somebody
our
else.
government,
My
to
frickin'
ensure
word.
that our campaign finance system is not falling prey.
All right, I'm gonna watch something else, and you guys aren't.
It would require the
No
FEC
medal
to
today.
exact